Today, we're talking about the New Balance Zante Pursuit after 100 miles. 6.97 miles, 7 minutes, 54 seconds per mile today in the New Balance Zante Pursuit. With today's run, I've hit the 100-mile mark in this shoe, and this shoe has been quite a surprise for me. I've run in it in a variety of distances and surfaces, everything from an intense treadmill workout to a 15-miler along the lakefront just last weekend, and all distances between, although I think most of the runs in this shoe were kind of in the 10K category. It's a 6mm heel drop shoe with a little bit of less cushion than I've experienced in other New Balance shoes. And with the updated styling, which I actually really like, I thought that this was really more of a gym shoe or a treadmill shoe, but it's really got some very serious running chops. In terms of the upper material, it's what New Balance is calling their heightened. It's super stretchy and very thin, no overlays at all on the upper, so there's nothing that's gonna chafe against your foot. I really enjoyed the fit of this shoe, although it was a little bit snug, and I don't know if it shows up, but I can feel it as I run my fingers along the edge of the shoe where the hypo-knit material has molded to the shape of my foot. That being said, even though my foot has kind of changed the shape of the upper material, I'm not seeing any wear or any potential poking that's gonna happen in this part of the shoe at the edge of the toe, which is something that I was concerned about when I first got it. Now for me, in terms of the performance, the real story was happening on the outsole. They're calling it translucent rubber. And the strange thing about this rubber is that it started out almost like a light blue. And over time, it has faded in color to almost like a clear brown or just like a rubber color. And it's not bad, but it's just something that has been different. And I actually really did like the blue color of the outsole when I first got them. But the other problem with that outsole when I first got this shoe is that the rubber lugs or nubs that were on the outsole were very hard and a little bit slippery. And so I was concerned as I was running with these outside. Dry conditions were fine. Wet conditions were fine, but I was always worried that I was just gonna slip and slide and hydroplane right over any wet surface. It turned out not to be a problem, but it was a concern just because the material was a little bit different than what I had been accustomed to seeing on other outsoles before. On the treadmill is where I spent a lot of the early miles in this shoe because I did get this in some very cold winter months. And there it really shines. It does great. It's in fact one of my favorite kind of treadmill shoes. Not that anyone really needs to have a shoe specifically designed for a treadmill, but also last week I took it on my 15-mile long run with my running buddy. And the main purpose of that was twofold. It has less cushion than I would expect for any other long distance running shoe. And the 6mm heel strike was something that concerned me because as I was looking at the wear, as I was approaching this 100-mile review mark, I noticed that in the back part of the heel where there's a lot of rubbing and some wear, there's kind of like it's hard to pick up on camera, but it's definitely something that's visible on both of the shoes. And there is an identical kind of jagged pattern that's cutting diagonally across kind of the outer quadrant of the heel of this shoe. And I don't know if that's just coincidental, both of my feet hit the ground in a specific way, or if there's just different kind of sections to the rubber, or that's how it's wearing. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but that's something that I've noticed. And the color is again different here in the heel. It's much clearer, and I think it's kind of transmitting more of the color of the New Balance Fresh Foam than it is up in the midfoot. So some kind of strange things that are happening in terms of the wear pattern on the outsole. But ultimately, as this has been wearing, it's been getting much softer and much grippier. And so the outsole is one of those weird outsoles that is getting better with mileage. So I don't know, at a certain point, the rubber will kind of flatten out and lose traction. But for now, this outsole is better than it was when I first got it. So ultimately, it's not going to be a shoe for everyone because it's not highly cushioned, and it does have a little bit of a lower heel drop that's going to make you have to pay a little bit more attention as you're running, especially as you get tired. But ultimately, I think New Balance really has a hit on their hands with this one. I'm a big fan of this shoe, and it's been holding up really well. If you have any questions about the New Balance Zante Pursuit, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd love to talk to you guys down there. But before I go, I want to talk about today's charity runner for the day. It's Allison Rose. She's going to be running the Boston Marathon in just a couple of weeks, and she's raising money for Massachusetts Eye and Ear, whose goal is to cure blindness, deafness, and diseases of the head and neck. A very worthy cause. I've been very happy to donate $70 to her fundraising efforts. I'll post links in the description in case you'd like to learn more. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?